during this time period. Hey, we're live. Sorry about that. So it's Kevin going again. See what happens. You do 3 in a day right in a row and everything just falls into one and you forget that you've been there. So sorry. I've actually got Lynne Spalding. Now, she's from the Wellness Hub. I've known Lynne for a couple of years. Really, really very generous and very giving and kind lady that she is. So, Lynne, tell us a little bit about the Wellness Hub, because this is something a bit new.
Yes, so we rebranded last year. So it's a business wellness hub, because I really wanted to have a look at my vision and purpose, and it was more about a holistic approach for small business owners. So that's why we rebranded, and we do anything from accounting right through to yoga and everything in between. So very diverse and really looking after the whole of your business, including the business owner's well-being.
They do say it's important for accountants to be very flexible, so that would obviously help. Sorry, that joke. Yeah, we'll be here all week. The government won't let me go anywhere else. So what I'd love to talk to you about is you've got this financial freedom package, and then we were just chatting about it a little bit before, and it really is about helping people separate their personal and business finances, yeah?
Yeah. So I've spent a lot of years working with small business owners, and especially the sole traders and the micro businesses really struggle with the separation between their own personal expenses and their business. And
I know we can get all confused about all that. And what's even more important for everyone to realise is that you're a qualified accountant.
Yes, I'm a CPA.
Yeah, so it doesn't just come from a background of, hey, I've done accounts for a couple of people. It comes from a qualified account. We even started talking about the old Solomon and Solomon case.
Yes, going back a few years now, Kevin.
It is going back a few years. Basically, old man Solomon, he went broke, and his business went broke, and people were trying to get money from him, and he went, but it wasn't me, that was my business. And this is in the great financial crisis of 1896. That's my little accounting knowledge. But Lynne has far more information that's far more relevant for you today. So it's about helping you separate your business and personal finance so that you're not always robbing Peter to pay Paul and doing that sort of stuff. Really important, particularly with the different government fundings that are about at the moment. The JobKeeper was announced last night, and how you can avail yourself of that, because that is available for everyone from sole traders through to companies, and whether you've got employees or you are the employee. So tell us a little bit more about how we can go about this. Have you got a step-by-step process, or what's the story?
Yeah, well, I do run a 6-week course and make them accountable. So we put a line in the sand and say, where are we at now? And a lot of people don't even want to face that fact. They just survive and think, I'm getting through, and don't actually have a look at complete review of their situation and see where I can do better. So that's the first step. And then we move into really identifying what is an essential expense and what is a luxury item. Because when times are good, we all know we just sort of get caught up in marketing and sign up for all these little subscription-based things and then forget that we have them, and they keep getting taken out of our bank account.
Absolutely. But let's go back to where are we now. Let's talk about each point a little bit so that we've got something a little bit. Look, I myself have been in this situation and that stuff, and sometimes you go down this little rabbit hole a bit and you can almost be a bit ashamed about it. So look, I want everyone, if you're in a situation where you have lost that line of demarcation between your business and your personal stuff, put your ego aside and get some help from someone like Lynne, because it is really important that you can go with confidence. You're not going to judge people, are you, Lynne?
Not at all. I'm here to help. Yeah.
We've all been there, right? So, and here's the thing, at different times, we've all been there, we've made mistakes, financial mistakes, and we've got caught up in, we've subscribed, as you said, to too many things and that sort of stuff. And there is a path out of it. So the first one,
just actually talking about it, having someone to sit there and talk about it who is not part of the family, who is independent, I find I can actually just see the stress releasing from them, just being able to have somebody to talk about and say, own up to say, look, I'm a bit lost, I don't know where I'm going, I'm behind with this and stuff, and I want to sort it out.
And the beauty is then that you do have a step-by-step process that you can help people in a very short period of time, in just 6 weeks. Now, hey, we're all going to be sitting at home for 6 weeks anyway, so it's time to go, hey, can I put my business in order so that as I'm coming out, I'm really ready to, tackle the next challenge. So first step, where are we now in addressing that? The second step was?
Just identifying what is a real need and what's a luxury item in our expenses, and reviewing, where your debt, how many credit cards you have, and just really identifying what you're actually spending on a week-by-week basis.
Cool. So it's about taking, giving yourself a little bit more accountability around that stuff. And it's really good to hear that, we're looking at everything. So, do you have different credit cards? They're all at different varying levels and that sort of stuff, and how you can actually start to get through. So what's the third step?
We then look at limiting beliefs and our thoughts around money. And it goes right back to our childhood and our understanding of what we feel our self-worth is, and where we feel we sit in our life with success and things like that. So we just explore. Again, we're just making ourselves aware. Some of this stuff really could take some months to go through, but it's just this process of 6 weeks of making you conscious and aware of the way you think of money and the way that you are spending money.
Yeah, so that bringing some awareness to the situation about going, okay, so how am I? Where is the money going? Where's it leaking? Because so often in our business, we feel like we're working really hard, but we're not getting ahead. Okay, and there could be a number of reasons about that. And so exploring those different areas, both the physical, what's happening, but also what's the emotional behind what's happening. Is really quite important too. What's the fourth step?
Then we have a look at separating those expenditures, what is business, and having a separate business account, working out how much money you need to live off, and paying yourself a wage, even if you're a sole trader, and only living off that wage, so that when there's good times or bad times, you're living a consistent life and not digging into that bank account when you know there's money there and saying, I'll fix it up later, and then struggling when things get a bit tough. There's not that buffer there and you're still at this high level spending. So it's bringing that realistic, consistent approach into your finances.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the thing. It's about, causing that separation, but living from your personal bank account, not living from the business bank account, because so many people, and I hear stories all the time, and, hey, occasionally I've been guilty of it, is you see a bit more money come into the business account and, hey, all of a sudden, let's be a little bit more generous to ourselves. And then all of a sudden we go through a bit of a leaner patch and we're struggling a bit. So having that, I'm just going to pay myself a salary on a regular basis, and that's the money I'm going to use for the household. That's a really good thing to do. Absolutely. And then as the business is going, then we'll have the money in there to pay taxes and all the different things that we need to pay. And it also can give us some more solid goals that, hey, this is exactly what I need to be billing on a consistent platform as well. And so we can be a little bit more aware of that. So that's a good one. Yeah. What about step 5?
Then we look at the boring stuff like, have you lodged your tax returns, and are you required to be registered for GST, and all those not so fun things that we push to one side and don't really want to know about. We actually have to face up to those and get them lodged and have a plan, so you're in charge of your finances and this isn't going to come back and bite you down the track.
Absolutely. And that's a really important point. And I've got to say, there has never been a better time in the history of Australian business to reach out to the tax office and put your hand up and say, I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to catch up. And they will go, that's okay, because they've been told, don't go hunting small businesses right now. So right now, beautiful time to do that.
Perfect time. They are open to communication, and they're wanting to work with you to resolve it. They're not there just to get the stick out. They really want to work with small business now and help them get out of these holes that they're in.
Absolutely. Look, there had been rumours over the last couple of years. I've been hearing a lot of stories about the tax office getting a bit grumpy and being a bit a little on the front foot and having very high expectations. That's all gone for right now. So basically, we've heard from other accountants as well that have said traditionally we wouldn't say treat the tax man last, but right now we're saying do that. Because they are very amenable to those conversations. So if you are behind on your tax returns, go see Lynne or your other account or an accountant that you do have already, and make sure you're using the opportunity right now to catch up, because without that, you won't be able to avail yourself of the different packages, the different care packages that the government has for small business as well.
I'll just clarify too, I'm not actually a tax accountant. I have this conversation quite often. Yes, I'm a CPA accountant, but I'm not a tax agent. I work really with the day-to-day of the businesses and get the structures and systems in place so that we can hand the stuff over to the tax accountant and they can do their thing, lodge your tax return and give you some tax planning. So I'm more about getting involved with the day-to-day and getting you sorted that way, so that when it comes to the tax accountant to do your tax, everything's in order. It's very clear. There's less like for them to make mistakes because everything is where it's meant to be. We make sure it's all reconciled and in a nice format so that they're not going to be charging you hours and hours of time to sort out your paperwork.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you used to work for a tax accounting firm, and that's why I made that mistake. So, thank you for pointing that out. So, basically make sure that, yes, you're getting your stuff in order, getting it to your accountant, making sure that your accountant is reaching out to the ATO who are going to say, just keep them operating, mate, because that's what the government want us to do. So what's the final thing?
Final thing is our action plan. It's great to talk about all this, but we need to be accountable and we need to have a plan. So that last time is reviewing where we've come to and taking that action, or at least targeting when we're going to fix these problems. And I'm just not going to leave it at that 6 weeks. I'm going to be there for them to make sure that it happens, and that if they need any guidance, I'm there to help them.
Which is fantastic. So look, if you're feeling that you've lost control of your finances, it's okay, right? Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel shame about it. It's a place where many of us have been, and I myself have fallen into that before. So don't be scared about that, but make sure that you're using this time to reconnect and to get control of that situation, so that you can basically use this as a transition period to take control of your finances, to start having a clear action plan, and to start putting yourself in a place where you can literally thrive and not just survive. So that sounds like—
And it helps with stress levels as well, because you might not think that it's worrying you, but you know at the back of your mind deep down that you haven't crossed all your T's, and it can come back and get you at some point. So it's better to face it. Let's deal with it. And then when you're ready to move into the next level, you haven't got that sitting on your plate all the time, worrying.
Absolutely. No, and it is a really critical point that, it will release your stress, and you'll feel like a whole new person, I can promise you. So,
and that's what I love what I do, because I see the smile on the people's faces and I see that stress going away. So, and they can look at the future in a different light. And that's why I get so much pleasure out of what I do.
Absolutely. So, Lynne, have you got any more words, any final words?
We are running a masterclass on Tuesday at 2:00. It's a free webinar. And we'll be just looking at breaking the business into the different pillars, looking at a bit of the financials, and just giving you some help and support. So you're most welcome to come along to that.
So fantastic. So Lynne, I want you to go into your directory listing today and put that masterclass in the events on your directory listing. Because if you do that, we'll share them into the group every weekend. Any event that you've got, we'll share into the group, okay? So every weekend, for anyone watching, every weekend, what we're doing is we're going to tell you what's coming up for small business in Brisbane, right? So anyone, people that are that have events in our directory, every weekend we're going to put them inside the group so that you can find out ways that you can improve your business. So, Lynne, when we get off here, we'll have a chat about how easy that is. Everybody else, don't go looking for it right this minute, but in 10 minutes, you can go looking for it because it'll be in the directory. Okay. And let's share it across and put it below here. Okay. So thank you very much, Lynne. I really appreciate it. The Wellness Hub, they're focused on you and your business, relieving your stress. As Lynne said, everything from finance to yoga. So,
and everything in between.
I'm not even sure what would be in between those two. I think about everything. But excellent. Then it's been great talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Bye now.
Bye.